It's a dull job, but it's rather easy. A few weeks ago, this new guy started working at the gas station in rural Pennsylvania. I'll name him Jeremy. Jeremy is strange. He is maybe 25 or 26 years old, rarely talks, but has the most eerie laugh. Employee theft can be an issue at any business that sells consumer goods, and since this gas station is small and only has one employee working at a time, there isn't much that can be done about it. Customers have never complained about him, and he has always performed his job fairly well. I'll just say that a few weeks ago, that's when things started to go missing. About 2 weeks ago, my boss began to notice that we were running low on motor oil. At first, it was just a few containers at a time, but soon after we got them, entire shipments would be gone. The next day, it would always be right after Jeremy's shifts. My boss checked the security tapes from every night that he worked, but he was never able to catch him in the ACT because Jeremy would lock up at closing and the motor oil would be gone. The next day, my boss usually takes the tapes home with him in an attempt to catch Jeremy stealing, but he asked me to take the tapes for him because he offered to pay me overtime under the table, which I obviously accepted. There are 3 cameras, so he gave me 3 different tapes to check, so I figured it would be a long night, but I'm trying to save money for a vacation, so I really needed the money. Music. The last time Jeremy worked, which was 2 days ago, he started at 4:00 p.m., counted up his drawer, switched it off with the girl who was working before him, and waited for a customer. The first person to arrive was Mrs. Templeton. The timestamp on the video read 403 regular, who picked up her cigarettes from a newspaper and paid with a $20 bill. Nothing out of the ordinary happened there. The next customer was a local man named Ron, who usually comes in every few days. He filled up his tank, got a bag of beef jerky, paid with his credit card, and then left. I had never seen him before, but there were plenty of strangers passing by, just like at any gas station, and he got $40 worth of diesel fuel, paid with a $100 bill, and then he left. I sat back inside. The only thing more boring than doing this job is watching someone else do it, so I left the tape on. Things remained dull and usual until around 5 o'clock at 5:05, and I had a suspicion that Jeremy knew we were suspicious of him by now if he was stealing motor oil. I didn't anticipate him to be stupid enough to let us capture him on camera. Mrs. Templeton must have forgotten something because she returned with the same pack of cigarettes and newspaper, which she paid for with another $20. I thought that was strange, but then again, she's a little forgetful. I thought that Jeremy should have informed her that she had already gotten her cigarettes, but it's okay to sell someone the same thing twice. When Ron returned, he bought another tank of gas for his motorcycle. I checked the outdoor camera because I thought maybe he had another car he wanted to fill up, and the same pack of beef jerky, which he paid for with his credit card. The memory of Mrs. Templeton is poor. When the man with the cowboy hat returned, I got a shiver down my spine because Ron most likely owned multiple Harleys. Don't get diesel. I started muttering to my empty living room, but he did buy $40 worth of diesel fuel and paid with another $100 bill. His every move was exactly the same as his first visit, down to the way he scratched his nose before leaving. Either this guy is rich, he owns a lot of trucks, and he just moved into town, or something really strange was going on. I continued to watch every customer for the next hour, and at 6:03 Mrs. Templeton returned, buying her cigarettes and newspaper once more and paying with the $20. I only watched for another 30 minutes before I began to fast forward through the rest because I thought I was going to lose it. Everything was the same, with the exception of 1 hour between each customer's arrival. I know what you're thinking, that's cunning, __. There were windows surrounding the cash register area that the camera covers, and I watched the sunlight fade as time passed. Jeremy's routine didn't loop over. He swept, mopped, restocked, and performed all of his duties exactly as you would expect, but the same customers kept coming in. I skipped ahead when he looked up and walked out to his car. He hadn't stolen anything, but I continued to watch just to make sure. I fast-forwarded one last time to around midnight at precisely 12:03 unexpectedly. I'm not saying that Jeremy's face appeared on the music camera because he didn't move his head into view. Rather, I'm saying that he was staring at me instead of the camera. I was certain of this because I screamed and fumbled for the remote control, and by the time I got it, he was gone. My hands were shaking uncontrollably, but I put in another tape. The other indoor camera showed the back area by the cash register, and I would have been able to see him standing on a chair or something on this tape, but he wasn't there. It appears that he didn't actually know the security code because I didn't see him enter the store after he departed. No alarms went off that night after he locked up, but I did notice that at 12:03, the motor oil disappeared from the shelf completely, just like Jeremy's face. I turned off the tape and went to bed, but I didn't get any sleep at all. My body is tired right now, but my mind is racing because that tape was definitely the most eerie thing I've ever seen in my life. I work in a few hours. My supervisor requested that I return the tapes and inform him of my findings, but I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I suppose I'll have to show my boss the tapes, but I don't want to watch them with him. I never want to see anything like that again. Jeremy works the night shift tonight, right after me, and the plan is for him to come in right before I leave and confront him with me because I'm supposed to be the one who caught me stealing. I can't get the image of Jeremy smiling straight into the camera out of my head. It's the creepiest look I've ever seen on a human face. Music took place. Update at 2:49 p.m. Updating from my mobile device. I apologize for any mistakes in advance. Jeremy has a little over an hour to gather our __ together, but neither of us knows what to say to him. Is he just a __ up guy who likes to steal motor oil and scare the __ out of people, or is he something else? My boss just finished watching the last of the tapes, and I told him what to expect, but you really can't prepare someone for something like that. He's absolutely terrified. Does anyone believe he could be connected to the time loop? I'm not sure if this is ridiculous. The way he appeared on that tape gave me the impression that he knew I would be watching, as if he wanted me to see what he could do. He smiled into the camera like a child showing you a sandcastle, but my boss claims he never saw anything like that in the other tapes. I don't know if this sounds crazy, but I'm going to talk to my boss about it some more because we need to calm down and figure out how to handle this. I'll give you another update later, but I have a pretty horrible feeling about how this is going to turn out. Update at 4:33 p.m. No indication of recalling the cops since Jeremy attempted to call him, but his phone was disconnected. Update at 5:33 p.m. Alright. Jeremy 6:33 p.m. Update 7:33 p.m. You pasted the call, but there was no trace of Jeremy. This is the final time. At 8:33 p.m. Jeremy wasn't there when I tried to call him. Update 10:58 p.m. blah blah. Holy __ holy __ holy __ holy sh*t. I just got home, and I realized that my previous updates don't make as much sense as they do now. Here's what I can tell you. I went to work, but Jeremy never showed up, so I decided to call the police. As you are well aware, when I picked up the phone to make the call, the sun went out, and I thought that was what had happened. It turns out that I blacked out for exactly 5 hours, because when I looked at the clock again, it was 9:33. I believe I got caught in Jeremy's time loop, and I snapped out at that precise moment, if that makes sense. However, that's when things started to get really strange, because my boss was right next to me when I blacked out, but he wasn't even a dial tone. He was still there, but he wasn't moving. He was standing up, but frozen. The second hand was stuck at 12, and it was precisely 9:33. Neither my phone nor the clock on the register computer screen moved. Frozen there was a customer at the register waiting for my boss to get us cigarettes, but betting that would have been his 5th pack of the day. Okay, get the __. Out of there. I didn't look up, I didn't turn the lights out, and sorry guys, I didn't grab the security tapes to upload to the internet. Believe me, that was the last thing on my mind. The gas station it's on a major highway. Cars were parked all along it, except they weren't paired, they were frozen. The people inside were sitting still as wax statues. I got in my car. I prayed that it would start, and thankfully it did. About halfway home, time started up again. The static from the radio turned into music like it's supposed to be, and from what I could tell by listening to the host talk in between songs, nobody noticed the time phasey or whatever it was. I was the only one. While I'm sure Jeremy noticed as well. I still have no clue where he is or what he's doing. They hiding in my room and calling the police again in the morning. I don't know if I ever got through to them before, or if I did, whether they took me seriously. I'm scared for my life at this point. I'll update tomorrow if I can. Final update 10:33 a.m. Around 4 o'clock last night, I finally dozed off. I'm still not sure how I did it, but I suppose weariness eventually got the better of me, because this morning when I woke up, my boss's phone rang. He had been phoning me since around 6:00. He woke up one time, turned back on last night, and immediately called the cops. They came by to see what was wrong. He told them everything. The police around here are all small-time guys. They were more concerned about the missing motor oil than anything. My boss figured he'd take it as long as he had their attention. They decided to go look for Jeremy. No, we keep our employees' application on file, and since Jeremy just started working here, it was easy to find. We checked the address on it and headed over to his house, and you're not going to believe what they found. The address Jeremy listed on his application was an empty lot, or at least now it is. There used to be a house there, but it burned down in 1993. Being a small town, almost everyone remembers that fire. A family of 4 used to live there way back when. Rumor has it that they had a strange son who they never really talked about, but I can't say for sure. If that's true, what I can say is true is that after an insurance investigation, the fire was ruled as arson. The entire house soaked in oil and torched with a Molotov cocktail. The entire family was sleeping when it happened. None of them survived. They never caught the guy who did it. Rumor has it that when they tried to contact the arranged son, no one could find him. Anyway, my boss called me and told me this, and I freaked out, and he asked me to come to the gas station. Like, what, are you crazy? I said, but he assured me the cops were there with him. Then he dropped a bomb. The FBI were also in town, and they were going to talk to me one way or another, so I might as well come. And it was about 7:15, and I wanted to go back to bed, but I figured I wouldn't be able to sleep much more anyway, so I went down. 4 men in suits greeted me and told me to have a seat. We went over everything 2 or 3 times until they got all the details down. I told them about Jeremy, the security tapes last night at work, eventually everything. Finally, after I finished, one of the agents said, Christ, we got another one on our hands. Then they made me sign a bunch of papers saying I wouldn't tell anyone about whatever happened, so I can't say much more. I might be breaking the law by posting this, so now I'm home. I'm not sure what to do with myself. That agent's words when I told him this story are going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Anyway, I've got to go. I have some errands to run today, and then I have to go into work to pick up some tapes. My supervisor, and I believe that Jeremy, the new guy, is a total creep who is taking motor oil. I have better things to do, but I have to watch the security footage to see if I can catch him doing it. He always disappears right after his shifts, so I figure I'll just watch the tapes and catch him in the act, which will be music. My boss is paying me overtime under the table and trying to save up for vacation, so I could really use the money. Hello everyone, did you know that I produced a video game? Megabyte Games is myself and General Drown, and we're working on a few video games together. If you're interested in seeing what those games are, check out Midnight Myths. It's really appealing to me. Itchy, Mr. Creepypasta. The game is available for free download, so feel free to give it a try and let me know what you think. As again, I want to express my gratitude to all of the Patreon users. Mr. Creepypasta, when it comes to this, You guys are truly a lifesaver. I feel like a lot of the stress in my life has been making me want to pull my hair out, but you guys' support has been tremendous, so I want to express my gratitude to everyone there, even if you can only donate $1. After all, you guys are keeping me alive right now, so a huge thank you to everyone there, especially Jordan Humble Decuz King Crab, CR420 Veronica Lai Lopez L6663, Mars Chavez Prospect X, Ethan Leon Polaris Fias of Blake Rattler Royce Tistain Samar Lens Pupil Simon Mendoza, Brandon Chaos and Brimstone Kuna Canales, William Wellington, Scruffy the J. Crow Ellis Miley Dante, The Psychotic, Kincaid Sim Bloody Primarcam, Mojoker Pox Jids Clonable Pet, K. Hyso Mike the Cherry Crusader Remember the Sun, Chocobo EST Second Time, Bean Hour, Minute Keep the Salty Surprise to Yourself. Shadow of Red Turtle Man Cat The Voice of San F was melted by Mr. Marcus Blitz. Lake Strong by T. Sukrat 509 Nephew of Freddy Krueger was born. The acid system of Tommy Walters Nyko Sky Harbor Kyle the Ginger Brothers Rat is ball-armed by Tristan Pelton. Daniel Son and Corey Ken Chen, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who has read the description and to everyone who has donated even just $1. If you would like to be added to this list, visit patreon.com/crashcourse. Sweet dreams.